It's late October. I'm just passing from Montana into Idaho and crossing Lookout Pass at about 4,500 feet. There's snow on the ground. That snow has since melted. I'm recording this on November 5, but I believe it reoccurred a few days later. It likes to snow up at Lookout Pass, and that's a good thing. And you'll find out more about that in the very near future. Lookout Pass is at about 4,500 feet. What is ahead of us is the Silver Valley. It is a fairly rugged, steep, narrow valley. It is absolutely spectacular. You have the tamaracks that are changing color amongst the evergreens, and they are themselves are a conifer. And I'm recording this on November 5. Down in the valley, we're at about 2,100 feet. The climate is very different from that up on Lookout. You can see as we begin to decline, immediately the snow is leaving. It's almost gone. We're approaching the town of Wallace, and in the portion after my message to you, you'll see that. This is a long message, but there's a lot of good information in it. It's very powerful. It's RV Predators 2. And if time is of the essence, either break it up into bite-sized chunks or put it on 1.25x, and that way it won't take up as much of your day. But hopefully the information I'm about to deliver to you is both important and worthwhile. You be the judge of that. I'd welcome your feedback. The post itself is at rvacrossamerica.net/RV Predators 2. That's number 2. So I'm Alan, and we're about to get on with the video. I'll leave you to enjoy the remainder of this drive. And then remember, at the end of this, there's more of the drive going into the historic town of Wallace. Hey there, Alan here, RVCrossAmerica.net, and this is part 2 of my RV Predator posts. It's going to be at RVCrossAmerica.net/RV Predators 2. And we're going to talk about a number of things. First, I'm here at my winter location. I'll tell you more about that in the very near future. Things are settling in. I'm going to be here probably through the end of March, maybe well through April. We'll see how that goes. Skiing should be starting very shortly, and I'll be telling you all about that in the very near future. And my camper just turned 8, and I'm going to make a video of my camper and its condition after 8 years of full-time living, and give you an idea that hopefully to communicate that not all campers are junk and not all campers fall apart. But with those thoughts in mind, when we take a look at the RV Predator series, this is our story based upon a gentleman named John who made a YouTube video. The video is linked in my post, so go to rvcrossamerica.net/RV Predators 2, number 2, and you'll see the link to John's video where he details his experiences. And basically, John is a good gentleman. He's a naive gentleman. He is a victim of the RV industry. He did business with Camping World, which was his first major mistake, and he bought from 2 of the giant conglomerates that are his second biggest mistake, that make these campers, or things that look like an RV camper. It's like I always say, you walk into a McDonald's and it looks like food and it smells like food, but everybody knows it's not really food. Well, you look at a camper built by one of these 2 giant corporate umbrella conglomerate companies, corporatist companies, and they look like a camper, and they might even, I don't know, somehow function like a camper, but they're not. So the 4 topics that we're going to touch upon in this video, and I go into greater depth within the post, is the topic of 4-season campers, extended warranties, more appropriately called extended service contracts, new versus used trading in. John was victimized in all 4 of these areas. Let's get right into it. When we talk about a 4-season camper, this is what I spent a lot of time looking for in my camper back in 2017. And I'll tell you a story I don't think I ever told before. I really wanted to buy a Grand Design. I really, in the worst way, wanted to buy a Grand Design. I bought an outdoors RV. It's a Glacier Peak. And prior to buying the Grand Design, I'll tell you why in a minute, I got on the phone with one of the engineers at Grand Design, and I had several focused questions for him. And honestly, the Grand Design fifth wheel failed in every single area. So I just couldn't bring myself to pull the trigger. I almost did, and I did it because the big rival that we had across town at the time, I was in RV sales in Casper, Wyoming, and the big RV rival, who actually used to work for Starkups RV, Ray at Starkups, opened up his own store. He was so mad at Ray, he opened his own store across town and started carrying Grand Design, and the two of them hated each other. Well, I wanted to buy a Grand Design just so I could buy one and drive it right over to the store I worked at, Starkups RV, and park it right where I knew Ray would just go ballistic. His head would explode and he would spin out, and it would be all kinds of entertainment. But it wasn't worth that level of entertainment for me to spend all that money on something that amounted to an inferior product relative to the Outdoors RV Glacier Peak that I did buy, and I don't regret for 1 minute. And frankly, with my concierge RV clients, it's one of the companies that is my go-to, depending on what people are looking for. I mean, I get people looking for everything, from motorhomes to towables and all different types of each. So Outdoors RV only makes travel trailers and fifth wheels, and they're not for everyone. So that's where my concierge service comes in as a consultant to work with you and to help you on that. By the way, if you want, just give me a call at 307-269-2546. I am now in Pacific time, and I'll be in Pacific time until spring of 2026. So please adjust accordingly when you call. I do get up early, but I don't get up that early. I mean, 6 o'clock here is 9 o'clock on the East Coast already, and I'm not often up by 6 o'clock. So when we talk about four-season campers, I'm reminded of something very important. When you go into the grocery store and you see the organic produce section, it means something. The term organic has certain requirements with respect to how these things are grown and how this produce is treated. When you go to a car dealer and you see a truck that says 4x4, it has a specific meaning. They cannot just assign 4x4 and have any kind of drive system that they want on that vehicle. The federal government has established standards. With RVs, there's no standards. No, not at all. So to call something a four-season camper, anybody can call anything a four-season camper. I remember we got in Arctic Wolf when I was at Starkups, and Arctic Wolf, of course, sounds a lot like Arctic Fox. I mean, what do Americans know about foxes versus wolves? So Forest River naturally made the Arctic Wolf and stuck a sticker on the outside saying "Best Insulated Fifth Wheel." And we just laughed. We just laughed, rolling on the floor. They landed there because Ray, the owner, was naive enough to buy them. He didn't know what he was doing. He was the wash boy when his dad was running the business, and when dad passed, Ray inherited the business and then made every wrong move in the planet. And of course, within 7 or 8 years, the business was out of business. And I was there for the last 4 years of that. I did whatever I could to make some profit, mostly to, get myself paid. But of course, it would have helped Ray, but he didn't seem to get that. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Arctic Wolf said best insulated fifth wheel. Well, being an owner of a outdoors RV, I know that there's a difference. And I know what's in the walls of this camper. The walls of this camper are 2-inch thick, high density insulation board. The windows are thermal windows, double layer windows. The floor and the ceiling are triple layer of insulation. The wall and the ceiling, the ceiling and the roof do not directly meet. It's a heel truss design, which allows the insulation to do its job up in the ceiling. And I get into more of this. I've got a post about four-season campers. And again, if you go to rvcrossamerica.net/RV Predators 2, you'll get the link to that, where back in 2017, I give you a complete walkthrough of this thing brand new. And it'll be interesting for you to see the difference between 2017 and 2025. It's kind of neat. It'll be kind of neat seeing that. Anyway, John was told at Camping World that, well, the camper he was looking at was a four-season camper. It wasn't. And it didn't have a sticker on it because they hadn't affixed the sticker yet. Really? RV dealers don't put stickers on campers. The only sticker they'll put on a camper is Joe's RV Sales, the name of their business, so they can hopefully entice you as you're driving down the highway and you see that thing with Joe's RV Sales sticker on it with his phone number or website address. Maybe you'll go and check out Joe's RV Sales. But they don't put on stickers that say anything like Four Season Camper. That comes from the manufacturer. And again, it's meaningless. It's absolutely meaningless. The questions you need to ask are, how is this thing constructed? How thick are the walls? What's in the walls? And what kind of windows are you using? And what are you doing in the underbelly? Is it heated? Is there a port in the furnace dedicated to the underbelly? This camper that I'm in, I don't even have to turn on the furnace until it drops down to 18 degrees at night because that's how well insulated this camper is. And I'll mention something else here too. Even though this is a really well built four season camper, and I'm going to spend the winter in the mountains of northern Idaho, where it's actually mild here. It's only going to get down to about -10 or -15 at night, and only for a few nights. I've been in places where it gets down to -35, and it'll do that for a month. The point that I'm making is that I don't stay here without some additional preparations, skirting, a heater that I employ in the back compartment of my refrigerator, and a few other things that I do in order to ensure that things work out well. And again, those details are in the post, rvcrossamerica.net/RV Predators 2. All right. So understand that even with a four season build, I prep this camper so that I can spend the winter here. I do not spend the winter running around from place to place. With many of my own clients and back in the day customers that I worked with at the RV store, I would tell them, look, Outdoors RV is a great camper. Arctic Fox is a great camper, not Arctic Wolf, Arctic Fox. Arctic Fox is a great camper, but if your plan is to go running up to your local ski area and take the camper up there, I would keep it winterized if you're not living in it. I would not introduce water into the plumbing. I would bring water and I would not use the shower. I would not use the sinks because if you do, you're going to have to re-winterize it. And you're up there if it goes to 30 or 40 below zero at night, which depending on where you go, it can. You might be very unhappy because you're not going to take the time to skirt it. You're not going to take the time to rent a 120-gallon propane tank so that you have tons of propane sitting outside so that you can then keep the underbelly warm. That's the kind of stuff that has to happen in order to have a successful winter camping experience. And this conversation becomes more important as time goes on because more and more Americans are living in campers. I don't think they're doing it because they want the RV traveling experience. I think they're doing it because the rent at an RV lot is less than the rent at a apartment or home, and that's the only way people can actually live in a domicile. So that's not a good comment about our economy, but that's the reality. Let's go on to the next topic. Extended service contracts. That's the appropriate name for an extended warranty. I don't like calling them extended warranties, and I get into this in the post. Extended warranties give you the impression it's a warranty. Well, what's a warranty? A warranty to me is something that when I buy a brand new RV or a brand new vehicle or a brand new whatever, brand new toaster, it comes with a manufacturer's warranty, which generally protects you against anything except doing something really stupid during the warranty period. The manufacturer will make good on it. Once you're out of warranty, then the most you can get on a camper is an extended service contract. And it's about a 12 or 13-page document, which no one reads. And if you did read it, you would understand what an extended service contract covers and what it doesn't. There are people that are having frame failure in certain Grand Design campers. And there are people that are having frame failure in other campers. There are people that are having all kinds of other issues in their camper, and they think, well, my extended warranty is going to cover it. Well, no, it doesn't. Extended service contracts generally cover components. That means the refrigerator, the air conditioner, the furnace, the slide motor. It won't cover the slide alignment. If the slide goes out of alignment, no, that's not covered. It won't cover frame fatigue. It won't cover the walls leaking or doing other stuff like that. So the bottom line on extended service contracts is know what they cover and know what they don't, and know what the terms are. When I bought one The terms included things like, we're not even going to think of paying for this unless you call us in advance of having anybody touch it or even look at it. We're not going to pay for diagnosis. We are going to charge you $100 per incident as a deductible. And on a good side, they did give me money for mobile RV techs to come over and to check out my camper, and they paid the house call fee, which is nice. But there are a lot of things they don't pay for. So my advice is read the contract. Even if you're sitting in the closing office and you have to sit there for 3 hours and bore the crap out of the finance manager, don't worry. He's laughing all the way to the bank because he's making $250,000 a year. And he's making $250,000 a year because of what he's selling. An extended service contract is a very high profit and, in my opinion, not a great value in most cases. Now, that said, I bought one for my Ford truck. Why? It's a diesel. I do believe in extended service contracts for diesels, and that would include diesel motorhomes, diesel pushers, diesel motorhomes in general. Why? Because when a diesel engine fails, it's big money. So I would want to be protected. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to buy whatever it is the dealer is trying to shove down my throat. I don't need protection for the air conditioner, the refrigerator, or anything else. In the old days, 5, 10 years ago, I would recommend extended service contracts to my customers and clients because we had a thing called a gas absorption refrigerator, and those things were $4,000 or $5,000 when they failed, and they did fail often. But since then, 12-volt compressor units have become available, and frankly, if and when mine fails because I have a gas absorption, I can replace it with a 12-volt compressor for as little as $1,500 or $2,000, and that's including labor. So it doesn't make sense to me. It's no longer the 800-pound gorilla charge. And so for that reason, I would generally, for most people, recommend self-insuring. And what self-insuring simply means is take the money you would have spent on an extended service contract, throw it in the bank, and if after 5 or 6 years or 4 years, whenever the contract runs out, if the money is still there or any portion of the money is still there, you win. If in the rare occasion you've had more happen, well, you played the odds and you lost, but it doesn't happen often. Next topic, new versus used. I learned that there is a manufacturer's statement of origin when I was working for the RV dealer that our title clerk handled. So that when a new camper got sold, the MSO was sent, I think, to the state as a method of registering the vehicle now as being owned by Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They are the first owners. They are the only owners that will ever own that camper when it was new. And by the way, it's new until you pull it off the lot. Then it's used. So for those of you running around buying 24 and yes, 25 leftovers because the 26s appeared in summer of 25, now the 25s should have, in a healthy economy, left the dealers. The 24s should be long gone. And should I even mention 23s? There are probably still over 1,000 of those nationwide that are brand new but haven't sold. The problem there is that the moment you drive them off the lot, they're used. And if you look up the JD Power value on them, just do a search for the year, make, and model of your camper and add the phrase JD Power value to the end of it. Do a Google search. They're very good about having one of the top links is JD Power. Look up the value of the camper. And by the way, expect that most values nowadays are selling at around low retail, not average retail. I don't care if it's a cream puff, it's going to go for low retail. So it's only new once. And John got snookered again by Camping World when they told him, well, it's only got 4,000 miles on it. And reading between the lines, it was clearly not a demonstrator. It was a used unit. And they said, well, you'll have the full warranty. Well, no, you won't. If it's a motorhome, you will get the chassis manufacturer's warranty. So that, for example, if you buy a Winnebago View, classic example, better alternative would be a Renegade Vienna, but what they both share in common is they are Mercedes chassis, 3500 chassis, Class B, Class C motorhomes. It's a small motorhome, about 25 feet, but it's big enough to actually, I think, live in and travel in and get in and out of almost anywhere you want to go. I like them. But if it's something to do with Winnebago or Renegade, the warranty is only going to be for, I think it's a year from either company, and then outside of that, you're on your own unless you have an extended service contract, and then only on certain items. But the chassis, Mercedes, has whatever warranty it has. I don't know, 3 year, 36,000 miles, 5 year, 50,000, whatever it is. That chassis is valid for any owner. So if you buy a used unit, a used camper like these, you will get, if it's within the 336, if that's what the warranty is, you will get that part of the warranty on the chassis. That means engine, drivetrain, chassis. All right, engine, drivetrain, transmission chassis. Um, that's covered. But the actual box that Winnebago built on top of the chassis, or that Renegade built, or God forbid Forest River built, you will not have that extent. You'll not have a warranty on it because you're the second owner. So it's really pretty cut and dry. And any dealer, if you ask them, is this new or used? By law, they got to tell you what's going on. I don't know how John got snookered on that, but I guess he wasn't too tied in on what the reality of the law is. All right, last topic for this post, and again, more detail at rvcrossamerica.net/RV Predator 2. Trade-ins. Trade-ins in the RV world are tricky, because trickier, I'll say, than a car or a truck. When I bought my most recent truck, it's a 2022 Ford, the MSRP was, I think, 77 grand. And if you know anything about buying trucks and cars, they generally don't, the dealer generally does not have a whole lot of play in the price of the vehicle that you're going to pay. You're going to get some rebates, maybe from the manufacturer, but in terms of what did the dealer pay for it, or what does the dealer pay for it versus what are you going to pay for it, they're not making tens of thousands of dollars. It's not like a $77,000 truck has a cost to the dealer of 40 grand. So when they go to make a deal with you, if you're trading something in, they have to be fairly upfront about the value of your trade. They can't pad it. Not so in the RV industry. If you go to look at an RV, I don't care if it's a travel trailer or a motorhome or a fifth wheel, if its MSRP is 77 grand, it may very well have cost the dealer 40 grand. Generally RVs have a 30 to 50% profit margin. 30 to 50%. So it's possible something that retails for 77 had a cost in the 30s. So the dealer knows he's got all the room in the world to put his arm around you and say, "Gee, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you're so special. I'm going to give you the greatest deal in the world." And if you have a trade, what they will do is they will not discount what they're selling you as much, and instead they will upvalue the value of the trade that you're giving them. In other words, they'll give you more than what they really are valuing it at. What they value it at is something called actual cash value. And what they offer you is enough to not piss you off. I had an incident one time in my RV store where I was working back about a decade ago, where I had a customer that we were selling them a camper. I don't know, the MSRP was around 80 or 85 grand. We marked it down to 60, and we took in their trade and we offered them 20. And that meant the difference was 40. And that's really all that matters, by the way, the difference. So we were going to sell them our camper for 60, and we were going to give them 20 for their camper. When I delivered the news, because it wasn't up to me, it was the sales manager who made that decision, the wife looked at me with a big scowl on her face, and I knew exactly what she was thinking. And I said, "What's wrong?" And she goes, "We want more for our trade." So me being the quintessential wise ass from New Jersey, I looked at her, and this is in Casper, Wyoming, and they almost fell over. Well, the wife did. She was confused. The husband understood the message. I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you 30 grand for your camper, 10 grand more than Steve, the manager, had offered." I said, "But now our camper is 70. Guess what? The difference is still 40. And the message I was trying to send to them was, hey, look, it's an $80,000 camper by MSRP. If I only discounted 10 grand, now I can give you 30, and you're going to feel all warm and fuzzy about the trade. But the reality is your trade is not worth 30, and our camper is not worth 70. We gave you the value of 60. That's what our camper was worth. Steve was very honest when he would do a deal, and he offered 20 for their camper. And again, he had to factor in how long is this thing going to sit on the lot, because JD Power updates every other month, and they go down generally. And he also didn't know, because we don't know, dealer goes through the camper thoroughly. We didn't know whether there was something wrong with it. We used to take campers in all the time that people didn't winterize properly, and they'd go into service when we were going to prep them and find out that the hot water heater was destroyed, and some of the plumbing was destroyed. And Steve would come to me and say, that camper we paid 20 grand for? Well, now it's 22 grand, because we had to put $2,000 into it when it went into our repair shop. So that's some of the calculus that's going on in the mind of the sales manager or general manager at an RV dealer. The bottom line is they want to make money, not only on what they're selling you, but on what they're taking in for trade that has these big unknowns associated with it. How long is it going to sit, and how much is wrong with it? What am I going to put into it in order to fix it? And of course, what could happen to it between now and when it finally does sell? So these are all factors, and that means the dealer buys something called actual cash value. That is a value below wholesale. So understand that whatever offer you're getting, it ain't good compared to what you could get if you sell it yourself. And of course, with my concierge service, I do offer a selling side to it. So I can write the ad and organize the photos, advise you on the photos I need, and then take the initial calls, so that you don't get hit up by every scammer and every spammer and every dealer that wants to buy it for nothing. I regularly get contacted by dealers from my clients saying, well, we'll buy that camper. You're selling it for 70 grand and we'll offer you 30. Well, where are we? We're why are you calling me? Anyway, so those are some hard-hitting topics, and I hope that I've resonated. I certainly appreciate your feedback. I appreciate your thumbs up and a like, and/or like, of course. Comments, share it. Go to my post, leave a comment on my post underneath. There's a section down there, rvacrossamerica.net/RV Predators 2. I know that's the first time you've heard that. And realize that my next post, which will be RV Predators 3, we've covered a lot of the pitfalls that John fell into. There are more. I mean, if you go to rvacrossamerica.net, you'll find all kinds of posts where I talk about this, that, and the other thing, almost everything that you could possibly think of that has happened to people, and I've seen happen to people when I worked in RV sales. But the next post is going to be saving money while traveling, and a report on a really nice campground that I stayed at, but why, under certain circumstances, I would never stay there, and under the other circumstances, I would have to stay there. And I'll tell you more about that when we get there. So, Alan here, rvacrossamerica.net/RV Predators 2. Thank you for your time. Please, again, like, share, comment, all that great stuff. There is a thing called the algorithm. It helps me. And I will tell you more about where I am. It's a great place. I hope that the video at the beginning of this, there's a video coming up past this that will be more travel into Wallace, Idaho, I believe, is what that video will share. So it's all one big encapsulated thing. And I look forward to hearing from you soon. Take care. Be good. Stay tuned.